Hey guys, and welcome to this week's episode of Marketwatch. I believe we're now up to episode 23 or 24. We're definitely in the 20s. And thank you guys for clicking on the video to watch this week's episode. So, this week on Friday, the day this video is released, bonus XP starts in the game until November 20th. Now, when we went through the Grand Exchange last week, it actually wasn't too reflective in the price of item rises and item falls. And really, it seemed like bonus XP really didn't have the same sort of effect it's had on the game every single time it's been released. So hopefully this week the prices have started to agitate and move a bit, and we can start to see some items which are worth investing, doing for profit on RuneScape 3. So last week we talked about Vorkath, which is coming at the end of bonus XP on November 20th. But in terms of content for this year, pretty much nothing major. What's pretty nice is they've released like the calendar of content which is going to come to the game. I'll probably do a separate video on this, but the highlight is really going to be Vorkath, the events, and some other stuff as well. So again, I'll do a separate video on this, which might be released on the channel sort of midday-ish on Friday. But anyway, that's not why we're here. We are here to go through the Grand Exchange price rise and falls in RuneScape 3 to see what we've got for investment and money-making opportunities. So let's get started with the price rising. So just from the opening page, we're in a lot better place than where we've been for the past couple of weeks. I can already see scaling items dotted throughout the top, which is what we want to be seeing in a lead up to a bonus XP live event. So first item is the Ensouled Pumpkin Mask, which is released from Halloween. Now, while its use is like quite good, it eliminates the point of using candles. I do think it's a bit overhyped or a bit too expensive for what it is. It looks great and it's got great benefits, but I don't think it's quite worth the bill. Some people, it might be, but to me, no, not really. So I sold mine, but this will probably be at the top for a while because it'll be quite a huge increase with that. Right, so congealed blood still on the rise, but it's had a slight dip. Again, this will be needed for the overloads. It's very limited in supply, in my opinion, and the Halloween event did help aid it a little bit, but I still didn't think it quite came in the numbers it needed to. It's dropped by some monsters in Mauritania, but just not quite in the number it needs to be for the demand which is currently on it. Exoplasm, nice to see that go up because that will help when do necromancy rituals, 2.1k there. Hopefully we're getting to the point now where Ectoplasm can start going a little bit of a rise because people have stopped doing necromancy, but the demand for Ectoplasm will always be there for the conjures. And also when they do the triple spawn, hopefully that will cause that to go up slightly more as well. Dragon Scale does 2.4k, could be a good money maker if you're looking to collect them and also grind them at the same time. You can grind them with the Lunar Spell. So if you're collecting mass Dragon Scales, which is okay-ish money maker, and very low requirements as well, but that could also aid. Fragile Mementos are going up because there will be some more rewards through the soul and talent system. If you haven't bought the higher tier, if you're a higher level, I would suggest buying them now while they're cheap-ish. They're higher than they used to be, but definitely stock up on Mementos because they will benefit you in the long run. 4.3 Teleport, 3.5k. I think it's used in a couple rune crafting methods and will be very good XP over bonus XP. Water runes, combat betas like sort of starting to sort of settle in now. And if magic comes back, Insight Fear will literally go to the moon again and water runes will follow. Water runes still at 96 is completely like a lot cheaper than it used to be as well. If we looked at the 6-month graph, there is an absolute fall from grace of the glory days of when they used to be 200 each. I wouldn't go fully into them yet until it's properly released and confirmed, but it's good signs that water runes are on the way up. The wool from Player-Owned Farms, still a really good moneymaker if you are doing your sheep. They have been ever since the Necromancy release, so I'd have a look into those if you do run those. Potato Cactuses up to 3.6k now. We did pick them out a couple of weeks ago to say they were on the rise and could be a decent pickup. Anti-fires, these will be completely high for the next 2 weeks because of Vorkath and Vorkath coming to the game. A form of anti-fire is going to be needed to do the boss, so keep an eye on that price. Again, I've got a money-making guide relating to super anti-fires as well, which I did a couple of weeks ago. I'll make sure to link that in as well because that can also be a very good way to get not only free Herblore XP, but make a very good profit while doing it. Extreme Magics, these were just too cheap. When we saw them on the Grand Exchange, probably about 2 weeks ago, they were just too low. For what kind of potion it is and what kind of herb it required, and the fact it could go into overload, they were just too cheap. Refined Elder Planks, these have still got a way to find their actual price. I could say you comfortably 4 times that, and you'll probably be able to buy an Elder Plank. For whatever reason, they've actually did a really good job getting the planks and the refined frames somewhere similar to the prices via the Grand Exchange, but refined planks have just been left, so that is slightly annoying. Hardened Dragon Bones back on the rise, 14.9k. Power Burials, 330k, and Elder Plank, 14.4k, although I still think that needs to go a little bit up. Price of the older log is still relatively high, and you're going to have to spend a little bit of GP if you want to do it the quick way to turn that into a plank. Dwarf wheat seed, 3.1k. You guys really enjoyed the farming video I did on the weekend. Really glad you did. I think it was a really good way to show like just what farming can do if you're consistent with it. Dragon King bones, 18.4k, will really help node on Dragon King tasks. There is the super antifier, we just talked about the money making method, 32.9k for bracket 4. I still believe that will just go up as well, because just of the sheer level of this boss. This is the next big release for the boss, so expect all the PVM items off the back of a bonus XP weekend to go up. I will be doing a video maybe this weekend or sometime in the week of things I would be looking to buy over bonus XP because they will be cheap. That include warm bombs and other stuff as well. But we'll do a video on that just to go through things I will be looking to pick up. Super magic potions, 18.6k. And again, the price of that just meant it just proves that the extreme magic potion was just too low. Dinosaur bones, following the trend of bones, that's the third, and there's wyverns as well. That's bone 3 and 4, which have gone up. So a big push on bones. Wyvern bones can also be linked to the super prayer potions. That's why they can go up as well. And that's why if I was going to invest in bones, which I really should have when we looked at the huge decrease in them, wyvern bones to me always had the best sort of backup because it can be used in super prayer potions as well. So here, I think this is when we're looking at them on the price falls. That's when we should have picked them up. But again, sometimes I need to listen to myself and just back myself and think, yeah, we'll be right. Grimoire, 14.5 mil. Sorry, Grimoire, 4.5 mil. How it ever got that low and I didn't see it, I'll never know. But a Grimoire is way more than 4.5 mil. Its value in PVM, especially with a PVM boss on the way, that was always due to go up. Super Necromancer Potion in Overloads, not so much bracket 4s, but again, Super Necromancer Potion, due to what's used to go in it, Spirit Weed and the Congealed Blood. Or no, the Super... Yes, and the Congealed Blood will always be high. But that's very high for a super potion. Really, really high. Refined Planks, similar to the elders above, they just needed to find their level. They're still way too cheap for what they are. Rocktail's moving up, 1.2k, very nice. If you are a big fisher, or if you've got fishing to be doing, 1.2k is a good price for Rocktail. Not quite where we want it to be, but it's definitely a step in the right direction. 748 GP each for a Rocktail is just, it's no good. It's good to see that food's finally coming back and it's not just blubberfish and brews. Eric Bones, 10.7k, 8.3k for them. Again, really good price, but they're on the way up. Pumpkin Beret out of the Treasure Hunter like pumpkin promotion, so that will be going up because of it. It actually looks pretty good as well, which will help its price. Green Santa Hat, Christmas, we're all basic, so yeah, that's going up. Corrupted Magic Logs, 908 GP. A Super Ranging Potion is 10.9k, and a Spirit Potion unfinished is 9.5. Again, robes of the first Necromancer, don't really like talking about those because they're a high tier PVM armor. And I know I keep promising it, but we will eventually go through a price checking website. Just go through all the other stuff as well. 9 members per patch, 42k. It's bonus XP. That's when a demand of people who are brave enough to go and do divination on a bonus XP will go and pick those up. Super Strength Potion, 7.5k. Decent price there. I think you could still make a little bit of money with turning those into extreme strengths. Depending on what price you can get the Dwarf Weed, I don't think anything, I think 20k can be a decent price for an extreme strength. But again, check your margins, that could be some free herb XP as well. Sandstone, people crush it into sand. Made a video on it. It doesn't buy for the prices it states. It's way above because of demand. If you're looking for a way to make some profit mining, which could be a bit unconventional, Sandstone is very good. Uncut Diamonds, good to see those back over a K, really nice. And U-Logs over 500 GP, really good to see that as well. Like, skilling items, I love it near bonus XP because you just seem to come to life. And they really do all bring a decent profit with them all as well. Water Orbs at 3k, which is a bit mad really. I think something drops them. I don't know if it's Water Fiends or something which drop them in a decent amount, but definitely don't do Water Battle Staffs. Do Fire because they're so cheap. Cannonballs, 951 GP. Acadia Logs, 1.6k. Could be worth doing with the woodcutting spirits. Again, woodcutting spirits have been dotted all throughout the Grand Exchange. They're catching up on their price. Price check them. If they're cheaper than the log, use them. If not, do not. But yeah, that is price rises. A really good selection this week. It's probably the most healthiest the Grand Exchange has looked in terms of picking out money-making methods, investments in a long time. It's nice to see such a range of skilling items which are on the rise because the demand is there. This is way better than last week, and it's a lot more reassuring than last week. So the next one, price falls, which will be an interesting one. So we're going to have a lot of Halloween stuff because the Halloween stuff is now out. The emotes are now gone. The titles are on the way down. The Wraith Overwalk is on its way down. Necromancy runes, we've got Flesh, Spirit, and Miasma there. They are on the way down, which is quite sad. Because for a long time, Necromancy rune crafting was the understated money-making king. Everyone was on about the rituals, but the rune crafting was the real winner. And the people who did the rune crafting, I salute you. You really did make a killing, so fair play. Great to go to Ink, 11.3k. Possibly, depending on margin, you might make a little bit of money out of that. But again, test it and test it and test it. And not only that, don't hold a serious amount of it. Sell it after every 1,000 because you don't want it to be stuck with you. Greater Necroplasm, 370 each. Necroplasm was just, it was good while it lasted, but not anymore. Astrals, 900 GP. Pretty good if you're doing Lunars, you'll save a little bit of money there. Blubbers, just under 10k for a raw blue one. Maybe the return of normal food is on its way back. Bone Rune, 600 GP. And if you're needing Necromancy runes, I'd be looking to pick some up now because they are on the way down and they're cheap. And also, if the new boss is anything worthwhile, that could cause the Necromancy runes to go up because they might have a purpose then. If things like the Necromancy spells are needed, then your demand is there and then your runes go up as a result. Blue Blubbers, 10.1k. This is something interesting here. This is brews. Brews are on the way down. So let's talk about it. Would I invest in Sara brews? So my point at the minute is at that price, no. Because on a bonus XP, even though they're used in potions of vitality, used in potions of vitality, they're still quite high. They are still high. If these were to dip down to 6k, because you are going to get people make brews on a bonus XP, if these dipped around 6k, I think for my own personal stock, I would stock up on X amount of brews. Because if they don't go up, I'll just use them myself. So definitely keep an eye on these because we've got a boss coming November 20th. If that's the boss where you need to keep adrenaline, brews and blubbers will go up. So it might be worth keeping an eye on. It might also be worth keeping an eye on Wine and Sara as well. Wine and Sara at 50k is the lowest it's been in a little while. So again, keep an eye on things like that. Now, I can never tell you to buy it because I don't think that's fair. All I can say is what I would do. If you're looking to invest in things like that, check your margins and check your prices just to make sure your decision is correct. Think it through. If you're confident, whatever your choice is, you guys, I trust you guys to make the right decision. Something interesting note, Hellfire Metal Blood of Orcus are on the way down under 10k, which is kind of a reasonable price, but again, check the price of the binding contracts. If binding contracts are a decent price, that could be a good way to make some good profits, actually, is to do binding contracts because it's really easy to get them done. Greater Concentrated Blast, 60 mil, very cheap. Virtus, very cheap. We've got some decorated urns on a bonus XP week on the way down as well. A woodcutting one at 7.5k is very surprising, to say the least. Blood Runes, 702. Nature Runes, 738. I will be stocking up on these for my alchemy machine, because these nature runes just go up and down all the time. It's like a bit of a path. And in a minute, they are getting to the point now where maybe in another week or two, if they follow this path, they will be too cheap. So I'm going to get in at a cheaper price now. Sara Brew Flasks are also on the way down. Now, there's below the point where they bounced last time. And I'm very interested, and especially on next week's Market Watch, we'll have an in-depth look at the PVM supply drop. And not so much supply drop, what supplies. We'll be looking at brews, we'll be looking at scrolls, because I'm surprised that a boss has been announced. We know a boss is coming. It's going to be a high-tiered boss, but supplies are down. And I just don't think that a bonus XP could affect it that much. But again, I could be wrong. It can happen. But yeah, that's really the end of it. Well, for price falls, I'm surprised. I am surprised at the kind of items which drop. I would have thought things like these items, the brews, the blubbers, the runes, I would have thought they'd be not so much through the roof. I think they'd be holding the price they've had for the past couple of weeks. Because if that boss needs those kind of supplies, we saw what happened at Ryziel. Ryziel went through the roof. And people like myself on the noob account, sorry, the Bond account, made a small fortune making brews. So I just don't get why they're so cheap. So that's price falls. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about brews. Brews prices and PVM supplies. What do you think the case is? We are getting on a bit now, so I'm going to be quite brief with these. We're looking a bit better on the high-tiered stuff. Apart from weapons, which are taking an absolute battering still. Little noticeable thing there, Soulbound Lantern, 720 mil. I think depending on what the boss is weak to, what Warcraft is weak to, will greatly shift. And how you kill Warcraft as well, the methods and the meta will greatly shift the price of a lot of items. So maybe feast and famine on the day of release, which I'm actually off the day of release. So I'm looking to making some content on day of release. I don't really get many times to do it, but I got a day off work and I thought, you know what, 2.1k for our weekly check on Dragon Bones. Still no real shift, but now that the other bones are starting to move in price, maybe I'm just going to accept my fate and do the normal Dragon Bones. But that is the end for Marketwatch. Sorry it's a bit of a long one, but I actually think it's one of the best Grand Exchange views we've had for a long time. Plenty of opportunities, plenty of investments, plenty of money makers are there as well. Let me know what you're planning to do bonus XP week. Let me know about what you guys think of the price rises, price falls. See if you guys spot any opportunities, and if you've seen something that I've missed, let me know in the comments. I'd love to read them as well. Hope you guys have a good bonus XP week. Plenty of content coming out. Make sure to be subscribed, and I'll see you guys very soon in the next video.